When a YouTuber says a video only gets better as it goes on, I'm sure you roll your eyes, which is why I never say it until today. Everything I say is important, but at the beginning, I treated this as like a video where I'll have gameplay going on in the background, and then after 5 to 7 minutes, it just gets good enough where you don't need the gameplay. You'll just listen to me talk. You should stick around for the whole thing, and I want to let it be known, although I am ranting, as I say in the video, this is not NetherRealm's fault. If you're one of the degens that goes onto Twitter and just tweets at NetherRealm developers, just airing them out, you're not helping at all, and you're kind of a clown for that. So let's get into the video, and I hope you enjoy. I lived! I actually lived. People probably think I'm exaggerating, but I haven't been that sick since maybe 2021, and before then, it would have been 2018 or 2019. It was brutal. I'm not here for any sympathy though. I just wanted to let you guys know why I've been so inactive. But considering I had nearly 5 days where all I did was lay in bed and lurk on not only Twitter, but also Discord, and read you guys' emails, messages, what happened to MK1 is the most popular question I get. It used to be, what are the best Scorpion combos? How do I rank up in Combat League? Things like that. But no, clearly the hot topic these days is that MK1 is an incomplete game and what happened to it. Because again, this game was in development for 4.5 years. This video will be segmented into all the things that are wrong with the game essentially. It'll be pretty cathartic if you've sent me something or if you think something is wrong yourself. Then we'll go into why I believe that is happening and why the game has gone down this path that it has. We'll get the obvious out of the way. Since this game released in September, there have been plenty of bugs. There are bugs to this day that happen to me every single time. Like, I'm not joking. Scorpion gets these same brutal bugs and all the other things every single time. They've been known. I have made them very known. I think for the first month or two, people let that slide. It's almost like treating this game like a live service game, even though it technically isn't. I paid more for this game than I will pay for probably any other game until GTA 6 hikes up the prices of video games and sets a new industry standard. That's another topic, but yeah, GTA 6, probably $100 to get both offline and online. You can debate with me, but GTA 6 will set a new standard. So, most expensive video game though. We give the benefit of the doubt, all these bugs and glitches happen, and a lot of them get fixed, but a lot of them don't. You can go online and still run into glitches today. I'll show you this glitch right here that happened to me the other day, and this one is funny. I was playing against a Liu Kang Motaro, and look at this. This one's a good one. Like, it's the glitches that are less important. So, we see Motaro quitalities. We get the screen, but it's as if the game is still going. And then Liu Kang does the deed. So, yeah, it's something so common. You can get on for a matter of 4 hours on MK1 and run into something like that every single day. Doesn't have to be that one. You guys have probably seen my short where Scorpion has the scythe going like this in between his legs. It's funny. It happens every single time versus certain characters when Scorpion loses. It's the bigger bugs that matter though. It's like every time NetherRealm takes a step forward solving a bug, the next one just pops up. And I think every single one existed aside from desync, and it kind of ruins the game. At the very least, there has been nothing in MK1 so far like MK11 Combat League, where essentially you could just pull the Ethernet cord on your Xbox or PS, and it would stop you from losing. That's why in MK11 you had those people that everyone complained about with 250 and 0 Combat League records. In this game, there is nothing like that. The only thing you could do is pull it before you actually hit ready in the Combat League screen, which just gives the opponent a loss, but you nothing. The reason people don't do that, and it's not like plaguing the game, is because there's no chance of you winning. Why it was so bad in MK11 is the player could essentially see, am I gonna win this set? I'll stay. Am I about to lose this set? I'll leave. But it's like with everything added, the glitches just add up. Desync has been around for a whole season, which I think has really highlighted how much dev support is actually provided for MK1. Imagine releasing your new DLC character, adding in intros into Combat League, and we are in mid-January, and we finally get the patch, and that patch does not work for PlayStation players. So yeah, desync is apparently fixed, even though it was around for a whole month, which is insane. Insane. Imagine something that essentially breaks one of your like 4 game modes, and your most popular one at that, and it doesn't get fixed for a month. Live service games that are free are better than that. So many things. This is supposed to be a AAA game and it doesn't feel like one. A $110 title that I paid for that feels like a $20 game at max in terms of support. I get better support on the Steam games like Phasmophobia or Lethal Company that I spent 10 or 15 bucks on. So yeah, desync was finally the straw in terms of glitches. You could look at so many glitches and be like, oh, those are fun, those are funny. This one not getting solved quickly proved that NetherRealm wasn't just being slow to certain glitches because they weren't important. It was legitimately because there was no support to fix them in the first place. Because if there was, this one would be fixed quickly. This leads me though into game modes, because I think desync again highlighted that. If you're not going to play Combat League, what are you going to play? Because Combat League was unplayable for essentially a month. What do we have to play? We have casuals and King of the Hill, which is fine, and private match if you have friends that play MK. But historically, MK is a game where people tend to play this game on their own. People love playing MK because it's 1v1, you don't need your friends online. When my friends are online, we play MK sometimes, but very rarely. We have multiplayer games for that. So I love MK when I'm not playing with my friends, because I'd probably rather go play an FPS, Rocket League, Lethal Company, the list goes on. So truly, casuals with Versus and King of the Hill, the story mode, which you probably already beat this deep into the game, Invasions, which you could have beat a few weeks into the season, but also Invasions is just not that fun. It's literally like mini games that I don't even worry about. I play MK for the competition. And then Towers, which again, I'm not playing AI. I only play AI when friends that don't play MK ask me if I can beat the very hard AI. And I'm like, yeah, here, I'll show you. Yo, your game modes are limited now to Invasions or casuals essentially. And a large concept of lots of games nowadays. Think of how many games you play where you don't just go straight into competitive. But in this game in particular, there is a large player base that only plays comp, and that took a month to fix. The whole point of a fighting game is competition. I want to beat the shit out of my opponent. That's what it's there for. That's what this whole game is designed around. When it comes to the available game modes in MK1, it comes down to a industry standard problem and an expectations problem. Expectations, we had 4.5 years since the last NetherRealm release. The cycle before that was NetherRealm only had 2 years to do things, so when MK11 comes out, we're more sympathetic that there isn't that many game modes because the devs only had 2 years to work with. They had over double this amount of time. When it comes to industry standard, this game has the amount of available playable stuff that, again, like a $20 game has, because the biggest market for an MK game and fighting games in general is the ranked, unless your name is Smash, because Smash is a really good couch game. Not that MK isn't a great couch game, but Smash can have 4 people playing at the same time, so it works better. You can have more people playing at once, rather than MK, it takes longer for each person to take their turn. So the game focus for MK is competitive online play, and it's just a letdown when that breaks. The game really shows its colors when Combat League is that vulnerable to just being exploited. It really shows how much is actually behind the curtain you can pull back to play, at least after the first month of release when everybody's already played the story. I get a lot of accusations that I essentially shill for Mortal Kombat 1, and I don't think that's true. I've given my fair criticisms. I still give the opinion that this is my favorite core gameplay MK game, and originally because I liked the core gameplay so much, I thought the simplification of customization and stuff like that was a good thing because I was loving the gameplay so much. And when you sign on for the first time, at least back in September, all the coming soon logos everywhere made me feel like a kid on Christmas. I'm like, I can't wait for in a month this gets launched. That'll feel so refreshing once I'm done with the story mode, I've done the first Invasion seasons, I've really dipped my toe in a Combat League, then this new thing will launch and it'll just keep on building. That never happened. It also is a sour taste in my mouth that we had to wait this long for crossplay. Crossplay was a feature since nearly the release of MK11, and also an industry standard in 2024. Again, $10 to $20 games have cross-play abilities, and this is a AAA title that many players spent $110 on. Next up, let's talk about price, because price is obviously factored into all these opinions I've said before, but a big signifying thing is that WB, I don't really think NetherRealm, but WB Games suckled from all the dedicated fans to rip as much money out as they could as quickly as possible with the promise of all these coming soon features, and then come Christmas time, drop the price by 50% for not just the base version, both versions. That's a slap in the face. So yeah, let's just suckle out as much money as possible from people who actively love our games, enjoy the games, and 3 months later, we'll put it to the price it's probably worth for actual consumers that aren't getting scammed like us and drop it by 50%. Yeah, dude, I got straight up sideways, highway, dude, I got robbed. I bought it for my PC, the base version of the game, for $30. $30! And yeah, the discount is nice because it makes the purchase easy for friends of mine who normally wouldn't play MK1. The game hasn't changed at all. The game hasn't changed. It is the exact same game. And it was only 3 months. I get if it was a normal MK release that released April or May, we had already gotten multiple DLCs, like at least 4 or 5. Like we're almost through Combat Pack 1, and then you go for the holiday discount. That's like COD dropping the price to $30 when it was a $70 game in September, October. COD at the most drops at $10. If WB Games actually respected us that much, the price drop would have been $10. If they actually thought this game was in a good state, it would have never been dropped 50%. But even WB Games knows it is not in a completed $110 state. Quick break to say this is not on the backs of any NetherRealm employees. If you're one of those sad mofos that goes on Twitter and just berates NetherRealm employees, you're doing no good. WB Games dictates the size of the team working on it, and so NetherRealm is at the mercy. Remember with Apex Legends, near the beginning, before EA realized how much money Apex could bring in after Season 7, the Respawn devs were like, our hands are tied. We literally don't have the support system. Then with Overwatch, at the beginning of Overwatch 2, you could really tell when PvE was supposed to come out and it got canceled, the, Overwatch devs were like, again, this isn't on our back. Activision Blizzard not giving us enough support, not letting our teams get any bigger. We just can't do it. So again, no NRS hate here because the big hate is on the price. If this game came out with the full game with DLC 1 being $70, I would call that fair. And that's the only way I would call it fair, and that pricing decision goes straight to WB Games. Let's piggyback off of that, the free-to-play level of microtransactions. How are you spending $110 more than you remember just any game ever that made you spend $110 and that said, yeah, not only that, we're gonna just drop in free-to-play microtransactions for the best items. So you need it, because all the nostalgia skins are locked behind $10 purchases. It's essentially saying you spend $110, but we're gonna guarantee you at least spend $120 if we just happen to tickle your main with some nostalgia. Overwatch is a great example. If you've only played Overwatch 2, you're thinking, oh, this has drops, all that, so how did it work in Overwatch 1? In Overwatch 1, you got all those items now that you have to spend money on for free. It was a part of the game. They realized you spend 60, 70 bucks. Yeah, you get the items. You're not going into the game in a free-to-play mindset. Mortal Kombat 1 is in the free-to-play mindset when you get on, yet 3 figures were dumped into it. There was a world where WB Games thought for each seasonal fatal, each one would cost 10 bucks. $30 in 3 months. So October, November, December from players just to get each one. That's the mindset WB Games has with this game. There's no care. There is dollar signs and making up for lost profits back in 2020 to early 2021. Deception Lee May though, 10 bucks. I'm a Scorpion main, so of course I bought the Deception Scorpion skin for $10. And each character is gonna get one. It's gonna make sure it pries out that $10 from you. But kind of even grosser, all this stuff that doesn't have a star is unlockable in the game. It doesn't really tell you that, except for giving the stars, saying exclusive to the premium store, but it should just never be involved. There shouldn't really be a store in the first place. You could do one mega bundle for 15 bucks, kind of like old COD DLC packs, where yeah, a few times a year, so every 6 months or so, there's a big pack that say includes all the seasonal fatals, then includes 3 different characters with all the deception skins. 15 bucks pack, it doesn't come around often. No, this game runs a Fortnite store! A Fortnite store! Once a week, there's a new $10 item for you to buy. Whoa. It pains me because Mortal Kombat is one of my favorite series of all time. This game itself, core gameplay wise, is one of my favorite MKs of all time, but the big bad AAA wolf behind it literally does not care about you. Does not. Essentially using the IP for as much money as possible and rush the game out to get it here, which is why we have the glitches and we have 0 game modes. Before we go into the why this has happened, aside from just overall greed, let me talk about the customization. Again, I think that was a step back in reality because I believe we all thought there would be more game modes, or at least crossplay, or at least online practice, or at least rooms. Rooms are even gone. Rooms have been in every MK, it feels like. MKX rooms, MK11 rooms, MK1 so rushed that we can't put a core online game mode, a core one, that honestly helps advertise the game for free because creators go into the rooms, set up a room, and play fans. So you get viewers, you get people that want to play a creator. Say they've never played MK before, they just like watching it because of the cool combos. You have people that might go ahead and buy the title just to join the room and play the creator. It's free marketing, and it's a game mode that has been here forever. Anyways, back to customization. Man, does this game get me worked up, at least in its current state. I believe in 2024, how is there less gear than MK11? And honestly, like, just not that interesting. Half the characters' gear is kind of worthless. Obviously, MK11 had characters with worthless spots out of their 3 gear spots. Like, yeah, there were some where you're like, that one's not great. Like, noob sidebots felt a little whack at times. There's a whole bunch of examples you could pick, like Gearus's sometimes. But yeah, it's just kind of useless. And then we have skins, and not many at that, for $110. Look, I have 5 Scorpion skins right here. 2 of them I had to spend $10 on. 2! Meaning there are 3 Scorpion skins possible. 3! I swear MK11 on release had more available options, just less colors per option. There are 3 skins I can pick if I buy this game for $110. 3! Finishers, right? We only get 6 Brutals per character. And we've had 3 Combat League seasons now with 0 Brutals as rewards. We would get at least 2 Brutals for rewards for different characters every season in MK11 since season 1 of MK11 Combat League. Why is everything in this game, aside from me enjoying the core gameplay, a step backwards? Everything in 4.5 years of development stepped backwards. There is nothing that you can look at and be like, this is better. I'd say, you know what, the only things that can is that training mode has more available options now. Wasn't like that on release, but nowadays I think training mode, masterclass training mode. There's still options. I think you should be able to pick tremor variation off spawn with Shujinko fully filled, things like that. But overall, it is a upgrade from any other MK. Then the whole competitive system, blind picking mains, that's what a lot of people wanted. That's an upgrade in Combat League, and it is cool that you can change KBOs. But that's all I can think of. That is all I can think of. And it's really weird to me that it kind of feels like WB Games thought the majority of MK players play the game for a story. Like, that this game is a story mode based game. Like, kind of like when you get Doom. Doom's a really great example. Doom had multiplayer, even the most recent one. But most people play the story mode. And it's really fun. And you replay levels. Because Doom historically, outside of people who mod, is just a single player experience, and the multiplayer is alright. That's how WB treated this game when, in my opinion, when it's a 1v1 fighting game, that it's all in the online. It's all in what my rank is. It's all in being better than opponents. And everything stepped back. At the very least, training mode got better, but it is a sad day when people hop on, right, and say Combat League servers are broken like they have been the past month. People's first reaction is like, if I'm going to play MK and Combat League isn't working, I'll sit in training mode. I'll sit in the practice. That's the second most fun game mode if you haven't already done the story. Oh, I went on a rant today, but let me talk about why I think this happened. Like, what my thought process is when I can imagine how we got here, how we kind of got to just a game shoveled onto us that wasn't worth the cost, but WB needed some Q4 earnings in 2023, so let's throw it out there. It's been too long since NetherRealm, one of their main highest quality studios, put something out. Release it, NetherRealm, is what WB said. Injustice 3 was meant to be the next title, and then WB Games pivoted because Injustice games do not sell as well as Mortal Kombat games, especially with the movie that came out in 2021, and the second movie is already being worked on right now. You're not going to be able to drive any sales from that movie that's going to be coming out soon to a Mortal Kombat game unless you release one. If it's just Injustice 3 sitting out there, no added dollars in WB Games' pocket. And on top of that, I think the landscape changed so much in terms of who are popular superheroes since 2017 when Injustice 2 came out, that I think WB Games realized they had no super high caliber in the media, in pop culture today superheroes in the game, and decided we have to scrap it because it won't sell as well as it would have back when DC was more on top of its game. Not roasting DC at all, but right now, you think of the top superheroes, a lot since 2017 have been Marvel. Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse, both, Spider-Man. That's a big one. On top of speculation though, we already have proof. We had super sweeps in the daily challenges right here. Essentially, when we first got our hands on the game, when everybody got it, not only during early access, so the first week before, all access where you didn't pay for the $110 version, there was super sweeps in here, and then something about super attacks, and the other one was like super dash maybe, or something along those lines. Either way, something that has only been in Injustice series and was never in this game, and clearly a leftover asset. Like, it gets even more obvious. You can hear a lot of the hit sounds that sound like Injustice 2. In the stress test, nobody really talked about it. In the stress test, it literally sounded like the sound of being hit in Injustice 2 was just straight up ported into MK1 for the stress test. It sounded identical. Like, just very weirdly tweaked on the bass boost or something. I'm not an audio engineer. It was essentially the same sound with some light tweak behind. This being the first assist fighter clearly made more sense as a superhero and sidekick game. That one is pure speculation. Me saying that, pure speculation, but it would go into that this game was in development as Injustice 3, and then it became MK1. I think MK1 was being developed already alongside Injustice 3. I think Injustice 3 started all the way back. Since MK11 was released, it was being developed, right? Then NetherRealm had to switch and upgrade to the next Unreal Engine, which would have added a year to development time. The latter part of 2021, early 2022 is happening, and WB realizes that, hey, this isn't gonna sell as well as MK. We've also just had down years since 2020. We need money in the bank, so let's pivot to MK1. And some of these MK1 assets that have been worked on just kind of get ported over. Then we try and redesign the whole concept, and we're going to hopefully ship it as soon as possible. And I bet you in 2023, NRS was probably like, hey, we can't really ship this yet. Like, it's not fully baked. But WB was like, you have to. If it's in a working state somewhat, just throw it out there and we'll update it later, which is why we got that info that WB plans to support this game for 4 years, even though we heard that in MK11 didn't truly happen, that we got long-term support. But I think that was to cover the butts of people to say, hey, yeah, it's a work in progress. it still goes against selling it for this high of price if it's essentially just a live service free-to-play game. I'll leave it with this. I hope 2024 is the best year for Mortal Kombat 1. I believe it can be good. I just think at this point, public pressure is needed to get there. Like, I don't like complaining, but I don't think we can get there unless enough people just call it out. Because if not, WB's in the best possible spot. Oh, nobody's complaining about how we just released that half-baked game and we made tons of money on it. We're not going to expand the teams at all. It's fine. Just super slow. Nobody's caring anyways. I disagree with all the people that have takes that the game's bad or the game's boring in terms of core gameplay. I disagree. Balance has always been goofy on every game ever, especially at the start. And I think NetherRealm really did a great job with the cameo balance, and I think in 2024, guaranteed, unlike other stuff, 2024 main character balance is in for a great tuning pass, and I'm super hyped for it. I'm also super hyped to see all these guest characters and DLC characters. And then in Combat Pack 2, I hope I'm making a video that the new and improved MK1 is light years different. Like, I can make a video that says the dark ages of 2023 into 2024, and then the light ages, which is end of 2024 into the future. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the rant. Had to be done. Back to daily uploads starting tomorrow. Catch you guys next time.